Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Vegas Real Estate Show. This is Gary Newberry with Summit Properties, and sitting across from me,
Evan Small with Summit Properties.
That's right. In case you missed it last time, we are now working for the same team.
And well, you joined my team, and we are so happy about it,
That's
Gary.
true. That's true. I'm happy as well. Happy to be here and be a part of the exciting company that Evans has built from the ground up and just taken from the floor to the ceiling, and we're going to go through the roof as we continue into 2016. Very excited, very happy. A lot of potential. Just really something that is, from standing from the outside, seeing somebody build a small business from the ground up is very inspiring. So, that's always something that I kind of think about. That's kind of like the American dream, build your own thing and go for, start with nothing and build it from the ground up and be in charge of your own destiny and your own future, all that kind of good stuff, I guess.
And to do it your own way. I've worked for several real estate companies in this city, and 3 of them have gone out of business. So they either flew too high to the sun, came crashing down, opened too many offices and couldn't afford them, or in the case of one, a real estate market collapsed and you went from 200 transactions an office per year to 8. So you can't really do that.
It's hard to build a company on 8 transactions. You can't even build one career, much less.
No, it wasn't enough to keep the agents going.
Yeah. So it's been a little while since we've broadcast, so thank you for hanging on and listening to us. And we do have some great, interesting news stories. We've been keeping an eye on the news and developments in and around the valley as it comes to real estate. So just because we haven't been talking to you, it just means that we've been busy. So thanks for keeping your ears open. Some exciting news has been happening in the area of median property values. We've seen significant rises, not too significant, thankfully, but stable and steady growth. And that's been the kind of what we've been talking about for the last year. According to the Review Journal, 2015 ended on a solid note, with the single-family home rising quite a bit over last year. Evans, what did you have?
I peg it because I only do the Las Vegas Valley. I do not pay attention to Pahrump, Moapa, Mesquite, even Boulder City, because my agents don't have any expertise there. But in the valley, it rose a healthy 9.5% to $219,000, which I think is pretty darn good. We also saw sales in January up significantly, almost 4% over January of last year. So even though prices are strong with these low mortgage rates, houses remain affordable. We just had a person at church didn't buy through us, but her home, I didn't even know she was looking for a home. I barely know the woman. But her house payment for buying a home in the $200,000 range is $180 a month less than she was renting.
Nice.
My other client I closed on bought a condominium, and her rent, including HOA, is $110 a month less than she was paying to rent a small 1-bedroom condominium.
Nice.
So the market is good for affordability.
Yeah, rental prices have been steadily increasing, so affordability for homes has gotten a lot more attractive. As long as you've got your credit right, got a little bit of money to put down. If you talk to a lender, you never know what you can do right until you've really talked to a lender and talked to a couple of them and figure out, maybe get a game plan together for the next 6 months so you can take advantage of this market well before it rises and prices you out of a home that you'd otherwise be very happy to be in.
Yeah, you're in the game now. You're having a house built.
I absolutely am.
And you found the mortgage rates to be affordable.
Yep. We went with the Home is Possible program, which I've talked about so many times on here. Evans has talked about it too. They have the 5% option now, so we pay a little bit of a higher interest rate, but still historically very low. Very affordable. And I've told people this before, you can refinance after, give it a year or so, and you can refinance and get out of that and get into a lower loan as long as you're not FHA or, some other type of loan. If you're conventional, that's The other thing I was actually happy to find out as we were doing our financing, what I had planned on doing was applying my commission at the close of escrow towards the down payment, but turns out it wasn't allowed to do that. So I had to restructure my financing, go from a 20% down to a 15% down. And I thought, oh, great, I'm going to have to pay mortgage insurance, But it turns out because my wife has very good credit, our mortgage insurance was not very much at all.
Yeah. People don't understand that on an FHA loan, that insurance can add $130 a month.
Yeah, I think on ours it would have been
payment.
closer to $200 if we were doing FHA. But by doing conventional financing and working with a lender who knows what he's doing, we were able to get a good rate. I'll give a shout out to Andy Gutman right there because he's my lender and he's been the one who's been walking me through this process. And we've had him on the show before. If you go back into the archives early on, probably 5th or 6th show in, something like that, he was able to come on and do an interview. And we'll have to have him back soon because when we did an interview, I remember we only had 2 microphones, so we couldn't really...
right.
Our quality wasn't as good as it is right now. So we've come a long way.
I just spent Sunday afternoon after church with him, my buyer client who just closed on her condo, my wife, and Andy's mother from Wisconsin at the M Buffet. The client was so pleased with the financing he arranged in the place we found for her that she treated us to a 4-hour hoedown at the buffet. And I can say I did not want to eat until about Tuesday afternoon after that.
Gosh. I've never been to the M Buffet, but I've heard it's one of the nicer ones.
Oh, we sure had a great time. And Andy Gutman does know his loan product. He does a lot of home as possible loans because he knows that it really helps get people into homes.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, my house would not be possible without home as possible. Mm-hmm. So I can tell you from experience, if you want someone who knows the process because they've been through it, talk to me, talk to Evans, talk to Andy. We all make a great team. They've got a lot of knowledge and they can really help guide you through the process.
Now, that 5% down payment assistance, that's a grant you're getting.
That is.
And that total is going to be right around, $12,000 to $14,000?
It's about 13.
13, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a $13,000 grant, folks. Grant, gift, present from the state of Nevada.
Yep, exactly. So, that's great. And I'm going to combine it with the mortgage credit certificate, which will give me tax benefits for years, if not a decade and a half to come. And we'll get into more about that on another day.
That's another great program for first time.
Yeah. That one is exclusively for first time homeowners. But
that's the mortgage. That's the certificate.
Yeah.
The home as possible is not
home as
restricted.
possible is not. But first time means that you haven't bought or sold a property in, I think, the last 3 years.
3 years.
So
a lot of us lost our homes 5 years ago.
If you've been renting for 3 or 4 years, you're a first time homeowner. Welcome back.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Another thing that kind of brings us, I saw this week was that, or not this week, but in the time that we've been away, Las Vegas. Last year, they smashed their tourism record. And tourism, as we know, is the beating heart of our economy for the most part right now.
Yeah, it's the engine that drives our economy. And we had over 40 million people drop in last year.
Oh, I think we had more than that.
Oh, I said over 40,
yeah.
So I'm pretty safe there.
Last year's record was 41.1 million.
Yeah.
And we had that in early December of last year before we even got to New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you we were at 42-ish, somewhere in that range. Tourism is good for everything. It's a rising tide that lifts all boats out here in Las Vegas. And it's just, everyone, as a local, you kind of tend to maybe you might look down your nose at tourists or whatever.
Oh, I love them.
But you know what? They're great for us because they come here, they spend their money, and
I want to kiss everybody in a California license plate car because it's either a rental or they've driven with their wallets from Southern California.
Yes.
So exactly. I make way for them. I'm very courteous on the freeway, on the surface streets, very helpful in stores, guiding people around. We should be known as a friendly town because we depend on those folks coming and coming back.
Yep. I mean, we want to be like as polite as the South
or Midwestern,
or Midwestern.
Certainly, we don't want to be Southern California polite,
right?
Or New York City
polite,
or Chicago.
Hey, I'm walking here. What are you, from out of town? No, we like New York a little, but
I love New York.
But yeah, so the tourism's increasing. The valley population is increasing.
It's going back up. You're right.
So that's why they're building houses.
Apartments.
The demand
too.
is outstripping. I know, right? They're building a new apartment complex right by my house that I live in now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like the demand for apartments going up so much that that's what's driving the price for apartment rentals right now is the lack of availability.
Yeah.
The apartments that they're building right now, I think, aren't going to be anything special, but they're saying they'll get $1,200
They're going to start at $1,100.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
And I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, the new housing starts last year were pretty impressive too. The closings went up 17.9%, and the median price rose over 6%. A new house median price at the end of December was right around $312,000. So a lot of those are bought by people moving into town from California.
Yeah. Yeah, I know in my development, I know there's quite a few military families because we're up in the Northwest, so they either commute out to Nellis or out to Creech. So those are people that, maybe they stay there for a while, buy a home for a few years and move on.
Yeah.
But also you have all those people that, they come in from out of town, try to make it in Las Vegas for a while, and they move out. They drive up the rental market. And then you have people from California that are doing rental, like second homes.
Mm-hmm.
I know I just was talking to some people that had a rental home. Their second home, their vacation home out here was about $400,000. So that's the price of that's a low cost home in like Los Angeles.
Right.
Their home probably that they have back in LA, if it was the same thing, it'd probably be $1.6 million.
Oh, one of our agents just signed a buyer up for a new home, which will be completed at the end of June, I believe. They lived in the San Francisco Bay Area. We're selling their home for $800,000. To get a 2,200 square foot home, they were looking at $1.4 million.
Oh.
That's 2,200 square feet.
2,200.
She's near the end of her accounting career. She decided to retire. She's buying a 5,300 square foot house here.
For half as much.
Oh, for
$400,000.
Yeah, for $420,000.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like a mansion.
Oh, it is a mansion. $5,300 square feet is a huge house.
That's twice as big as my house.
Yeah, it's twice as big as I would ever need.
Yeah, I think that's that's typical of the California buyer.
Oh, actually, no, it was a $600,000 house. $600,000 for 5,200 square feet.
Okay,
not bad. Compared to 2,200 at $1.4 million to $1.5 million.
Yeah, can you imagine how much a 5,700 square foot house would have cost in California?
Yeah, well, you'd be multi-millions at that point.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be in Hillsborough. You'd be in one of the nicer areas.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of great reasons, I think, that people are choosing to stay in Las Vegas and move here.
Well, how about an 80-degree day or two in February?
It's been really nice out here. It's been warm, but so mad. I look at the pictures of the Midwest. Up until this week, they had Saturday, it was 60, 70, 80 degrees out there, too. I'm like, where's all their snow? I guess it came yesterday.
It came last year, too. I think last year was brutal.
Yeah. So they got it. They finally got snow out there. I'm like, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not bitter, just kind of makes me feel better about moving out here when I see a foot and a half of snow come down in 24 hours.
Right.
I'm like, Yeah, I'm really glad I'm not there right now.
Oh, just imagine the potholes you're not hitting
Oh,
too
I
on
know.
the roads.
Every day.
Yeah.
Those don't go away in the summer either.
No.
It's not like they fill them. They fill a lot of them, but they don't fill all of them.
Well,
Definitely, if you're on a main street, you'll get filled. But
my favorite is when they've got the guy with the hot tar and a shovel, and he's pounding the asphalt into the hole like that's going to last for more than about 20 cars.
Yep.
Why bother?
Why bother? I know. And actually, out where I used to live in Indiana, they wouldn't even put salt down. They would put like cinders, so your car would be filthy.
Yeah.
It was like, ugh. Some other news that we saw this recently was that the break even on a new home or on a home purchase, that window lengthened slightly in the fourth quarter of 2015 compared with a year earlier. So Las Vegas's homeowners break-even horizon was 1.7 years in the fourth quarter. So you'd have to stay in a house for 1.7 years in order to recoup the purchase price because you have expenses associated with the purchase.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's nothing.
you need to stay in a home for at least 2 years, basically.
Yeah.
In order to recoup the cost.
That is nothing.
Which isn't bad. I mean, if you look at that, so how much if you spent $1,000 a month on rent, just to make it easy, you'd be out $24,000 over the course of 2 years, or you could be breaking even in 2 years if you bought a house.
Right.
So even people who are looking at a home short term in Las Vegas, you might be here for a couple of years.
3 to 5, it's well worth it.
It is well worth it, especially with the way the market's looking. We keep seeing, rising prices, and I don't really see depreciation at all on the horizon. I don't think anyone does. And it's not just the residential housing, but also we're seeing more industrial activity.
Well, we still have a huge number of homes underwater too, because of refinancing, because of adjustable rates. We've still probably got 15 to 20% of our market that's underwater, and that keeps those people from moving out.
Yeah,
it takes away a lot of affordable housing at the bottom end because most of those folks weren't buying the high end homes.
Right.
They were in the barely affordable market, and now they're home. I farm an area down in Mountain's Edge, and I see people who paid $430,000, $380,000 houses that are now back to $260,000. But it's going to be 10 years before they're even.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many people that are right on that bubble right now of breaking even. Every month, every quarter, really, you see more people come back into the market that were not able to, as the market continues to rise steadily, you see people that were basically, they want to buy a home, but they can't because of their housing being, basically underwater, and they want to, but now this quarter they can.
Well,
and then their neighbor 2 houses down, 2 quarters later they can. So there is some pent up demand there.
Each $5,000 in rising prices takes a lot of people over the hump.
Right.
It does. I just got a gentleman out a year ago. He had to rent his house, and we managed it because he got transferred with his company. He would have had to pull, I think our initial figures were $17,000 out of his retirement a year and a half ago to close. And we waited a year. He made enough to cover his mortgage and maybe $10 a month above that in rent. And we sold it this year, and he walked away with $1,100 in cash.
That's a pretty big swing. That's an $18,000 swing in 1 year. That's great.
In a $220,000 house. So, he wanted to liquidate. I said, let's try renting it for a year, see where the market goes. Sometimes it pays to listen to a realtor.
Just occasionally.
Yeah. I mean, he's just delighted because that would have assaulted his retirement plan.
Oh,
the 401k is a loan, so you've got to pay it back.
Right.
Otherwise, you pay horrendous taxes for taking money out of it.
Right. It's, I mean, just he saved himself so much money and really saved his retirement so much money. Especially, I'm assuming he's not a younger guy.
Oh, he is. I'm going to guess he's one of these people who got into power generating plants, learning how to operate them, and now is a specialist in running solar plants.
Really? Okay.
So, I mean, he's in demand. He's a very successful young man, very nice. Probably started working when he was 18. I'm going to guess he's in his low 30s now.
Okay, so he would have had time to recoup that cost.
But still it's a painful.
When you do that, even at that point, you're taking away so much of your seed money for future growth.
Yeah.
It's just, it was such a smarter financial move to wait and sell it later on and then make some money versus what, a year's worth of growth that money would have had, over time, plus what it would cost him to repay that over time. Of course, you said, you're paying yourself interest, but
yeah,
if you never have to do that in the first place,
it's much better.
Much
better. You're right.
And, fortunately, he was able to make that work. Industrial or commercial real estate isn't really something that we talk about too much, but there has been quite a bit of leasing activity in the area. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of a company called Logistic Center or Prologis.
Prologis is huge.
They're huge. So those guys are out here. They're building speculative warehouse and office space still.
Well, industrial and warehouse vacancy right now is under 6%. So they're starting to see a market for some spec building. And I know there's a huge project announced yesterday at the intersection of Lamb and the 15, which I think is starting with 400,000 square feet.
Well, if anyone's been along the 215 out there, kind of around Aliante, you've seen they're upgrading the interstate and all that stuff out there. So there's the industrial growth in the city is going to be along the north part of North Las Vegas, along the 215, between Aliante and the 15.
And they just had a new planned community approved up there in North Las Vegas, too.
Yeah.
So they're starting to look for builders to develop that, but I think that was 8,000 more homes coming off of that North 215 arm, which they're gradually paving and turning into a freeway.
Yep. Yeah, slowly but surely. So, that's a growing area. It's good for me. It's good for my home's value. Because I'm far enough away that it won't bother me, but I'm close enough that it really would be a 15-minute commute if people were to work there. Of course, there's also, people have heard about some of our bigger economic news as far as Faraday getting their incentive package recently. Hopefully that works out. You never really know for sure until ground is broken and things are put into action, how things are actually going to shake out. Everything's on the design board. Everything's subject to change until, it's not over till it's over, I guess. Is the saying.
Right. No, I mean, they've had to get a few things approved in advance, one of which was a height restriction in the area because they're underneath the Nellis takeoff, and they need a few things put in that are a little higher than I think they had, like a 2 or 3 story height limitation there. But they got those approved and cleared. So the Nellis, I'm not sure I'd want to have my business right under where they're taking off with bomb-laden planes. But recently we haven't lost any of those bombs.
Yeah, exactly. Not recently.
But it's an industrial development. It's not residential.
Yeah. They've said that they're going to be moving quickly and it's supposed to be built over the next year. And once it's fully staffed and built, it should employ about 3,000 people.
Wow.
Let's see if that happens.
That would be great for this economy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've got a hybrid. You've got a hybrid. I'm ready to go electric.
Oh, I am too.
I really am. I mean, even at $1.79 a gallon, my wife's getting about 43 miles to the gallon in her little Ford. You're getting a little better than that in your Prius.
Yeah, I'm doing 45, 46.
And my Magnum, which I've had since metal was first, crafted out of iron. That thing gets 20 miles to the gallon for 238,000 miles. And I don't mind the gas price, but I can see the logic of an around town electric car.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think if you're going out of town, it would make sense to rent a car for the day.
Or a hybrid,
and do a hybrid.
Yeah.
We just recently went to Death Valley, and I drove my Prius, and it was great. We had 4 people. I got good mileage, and the trunk was full, the car was full.
Wow.
I made it the entire trip on basically on a single tank of gas.
Yeah.
We drove from here to Beatty, and then down through Death Valley from the north. Came out of the south. One of the passes was closed because they've had some washouts there in October.
Right.
And Scotty's Castle, if anyone cares, is still closed, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't able to see that. But yeah, I mean, I probably did 300 miles at least.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
And then drive back through the Amarosa Valley. So Death Valley is beautiful this time of year, in case anyone cares.
Oh, it sure is.
They're
The flowers,
experiencing a
wild
big flower
flowers
bloom.
are beautiful this time of year.
I think they're not quite at what they call a super bloom.
I've been out there for a
but-
super bloom. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
My wife has threatened me by saying if they do have a super bloom, we're going back.
Oh, it's worth it. I've got. We've probably lost the photos by now because we used something called film back then.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
You guys should have really known better than that.
Yeah, well, this is 15, 18
You mean
years
you
ago.
couldn't invent a digital camera and take that with you?
Right. But I can still remember, as far as the eye could see, flowers. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about that. And then 6 months later, it's going to be
It's
130 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is dead.
Yeah.
Everything.
And
That's
you
cool.
also mentioned, I mean, part about Las Vegas is access to Death Valley for the heat. You've got Utah's just got some fabulous canyons that you
Absolutely.
can visit. Zion, Bryce, Arches,
There's like 6 of them that are
Canyonland,
huge.
Escalante. I mean, they're fabulous parks.
Yeah.
And then we got Lake Mead, which someday will fill back up again, but not this year. And we've got the Grand Canyon is 3 hours away. So
Pacific Ocean's 4.5 hours away.
Exactly. And San Diego or LA.
Yeah, San Diego or LA.
Now, San Francisco, unfortunately, is 9 hours away.
It's a little bit farther.
But you don't want to go to the beach there anyway. It is cold.
Yeah. Exactly. One other thing that I've kind of been keeping an eye on is the development for Resorts World, which is a huge casino.
Multi-billion dollars.
Yeah, like
Someday.
4 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someday.
Back in, when was it? Was it May of last year?
Oh, yeah.
Or-
It was just around spring of last year.
yeah, they officially had the official groundbreaking. They haven't done much since then. So we're coming up on 7-8 months since then, and county officially just gave the okay for the land use for it. So I mean, kind of seems like it's slowly getting there. They haven't really put out any money yet. I mean,
no, but
you can see from the site they haven't spent millions of dollars yet getting.
They
things
have
ready.
been doing a lot of utility infrastructure, from what I read in one article. So that is time consuming and probably more expensive than you and I would believe.
I imagine.
But I
You have to write
can't
a
wait
check
till I
every
see,
day for
see
stuff like
something
that.
stick out above ground.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for.
That's what I want to see too. Speaking of casinos and developments, I read on an article, I don't have this in front of me, but I heard that the Fountainbleu has a potential buyer. Now, they're probably not going to pay $650 million, which will be disappointing for Carl Icahn.
Yeah.
But if he gets $500 million, I think
he's
he'd be
done
happy.
well, I'm sure.
Because he bought it for $150.
Right, and he's probably into it for another 10 to 15 carrying. So
Yeah.
if he can clear $300 million, I'm sure he'll give it a shot.
He should be just happy.
He's got to be in his 90s. I mean, it's the big flaw with the Fountainbleu is there's no casino.
Is that what true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they didn't want a casino. They wanted to make it a resort hotel. But this day and age, that might pan out. If they stock it with the right retail. I mean, Wynn is adding a retail tower. He's going to be doubling his retail.
I mean, you've got to do some more. You got to have something to draw people there. They're not going to come there to gamble.
Right.
But they will gamble while they're there, incidentally.
Restaurants, shows, fights, all of those are huge money makers in this town.
Yeah. And if you can find something new that people haven't seen or done before, like that's one reason why I'm kind of curious about this Resorts World and what it's going to do. Live panda exhibit, a replica of the Great Wall.
I am waiting for some of these video game competitions to get a decent showroom around here.
That would be kind of cool.
You could bring them around from the world and have some competitions. We're not more than probably 2 or 3 years away from that.
Oh, they have them. I just don't know why they don't have them out here.
Yeah,
in Las Vegas.
No one's thought about it yet, so it's coming.
Maybe once they get the convention center bigger or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if they need more space or infrastructure or whatever, but it seems like we should be able to take care of that.
Yeah. From what I hear now, you get about 1,000 people watching. We can handle that in some of the closets to these convention rooms.
And it's something else that I'm kind of interested in is the next generation of casino gaming, which is supposed to be, they're testing out skill-based slot play.
Yeah.
So you add a skill element, and how do they balance that against the house advantage?
Exactly. And how about the guy who figures out the game and can just hose the casino? It'll be like counting cards. Sorry, you've mastered it. You only get to master it once. Now you got to go home.
Right. Because I know for people like my age and younger, I would say I'm probably on the upper limit of people that are doing this, but like mobile gaming and stuff that you can do for 5 minutes and then hop off. If you can build something like that, because we all know, everyone knows, here's the slot machine, slot machines are the biggest money makers for the casino.
Yeah.
But if you can attract a whole new generation by not just throwing up a new facade on the same old random chance generating machine, but if you can actually draw us in and make it something where you could build, some skill at and improve your chances by being better at it, then, maybe instead of taking 9%, maybe the house would only take 3% and you'd increase your chance. I'm sure they're working on the math of all that.
Oh, the take on these machines has pretty much doubled, if not tripled, in the last 20 years. And there's almost no way to win on a slot machine right now, that it's so skewed in favor of the house.
Tell that to my mother-in-law and her family. Every time, I swear, we went to Aliante probably a month ago. She spent 20 cents and she got $60. And my brother, he was playing a little bit more of a higher machine. I can't remember if it was $1 or 50 cents or whatever. $120. He won that night.
Yeah.
I'm like, playing slots for her, it was like her third spin.
Mm-hmm.
For him, I think it played for about 15 minutes.
And then they quit?
Oh, yeah.
Most people don't.
That's the thing. That's what my wife always tells me. She's like, the slot machines, you go up, and then you go down. She's like, you got to quit while you're ahead.
Yeah.
I'm like, if we were able to do that, this city wouldn't be here.
Right.
If any of us were really, truly capable of getting away from that, then we would just never leave.
So true.
Yeah. So hopefully this Resorts World Casino is going to be...
the jobs will be incredible. And the industrial jobs, just putting up that warehouse is going to put a few hundred people to work.
Yeah. According to the article here, the construction workers have been finishing the parking garages and in anticipation of a full-scale construction project commencing this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And last summer, they were saying starting in a month.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they said this summer last year.
Yeah.
Starting to sound like the Cubs. Maybe next year.
Hey, they did it last year. They had a winning record.
They, not only that, they made it deep into the playoffs, but, didn't quite get there. So, like any true Cubs fan, I will close this by saying maybe this year.
Yeah. And for my Giants, this is the every other year that they've been working on lately. So maybe this year.
Yeah. So, I think that about wraps it up for us. Evans, anything for you?
Oh, I've exhausted my mind.
All right.
I've tapped every resource I have.
Well, that is going to wrap it up for us then. Thank you guys for listening for another episode, and we wish you well, and give us a call. You can go to Evans. Evans, what's your website?
SummitPropertiesVegas.com.
All right. Go there. Check us out. And you can call me at 815-762-2371 if you have a real estate question.
I also have this cool new website where you can go to it, type in your home address, and get an automated value similar to Zillow, just a little more accurate in many cases, called evansmall.smarthomeprice.com.
Cool.
And that would be fun to have people trying out. I've had about 150 people check out their home values so far. If you're in Las Vegas in the Southwest Valley, I've corrected all of those so it's actually pretty accurate. But if you're in Chicago, it'll work too. That's the cool thing.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and have a great day, everybody.